Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire Insights, the show where curiosity meets velocity. I'm your host, David McCall, and this is my co-host, Chris Hanna.
Hello, everyone.
And today we have our special guest, Mike from San Francisco, the creative director of GeoPogo, a phenomenal AR/VR company out of the States. And Mike, would love to hear more about what you do and how GeoPogo is doing.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you, David and Chris, for having me on. I'll say in the AR space, we're building fast, and we're creating all kinds of great new concepts for how we can better present building designs in the real world.
Now, Mike, you're in. Can you elaborate a little bit more about with GeoPogo, what that looks like, how long you've been with them, expand a little bit more, I think, on what that looks like for you.
Oh, perfect. So I've been with GeoPogo since 2018 as the creative director. And since 2018, we've seen AR technology really start to blossom and expand. You have a bunch of different AR headsets, you have, iPhones, iPads, and we've really pushed in the way for architectural design and presentation, making it easier for architectural designers to load their models into these devices, take the clients out on site, project their building designs, whether it's a home or an office building or just some type of new design, and really give them the device and say, hey, take a look at your building. Take a look at what we have created for you. And they put the glasses on and they always go, holy shit. And
I can attest to this because I have done this. Mike did a demonstration, and I got a chance to put on the glasses and walk through one of the tiny homes they were working on, and it was just phenomenal. It's an oh my god experience.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel with technology? How do you see it's just going to change and disrupt so many industries? It's already starting to do that. But where do you really see this going?
Well, I see, what's going to happen is, right now you have headset makers like Microsoft, Magic Leap, and Apple is stepping into the game, and Google and a few others will come into. So what's going to happen over time, we look at 2024, 2025, 6, 7, 8, is that these headsets are going to become glasses, normal, regular glasses like people wear every day. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of the barriers to entry get cut. You're going to see people just being able to, in our case, for architecture and design, you'll have whole groups of people that will just put the glasses on. Everyone's on site. We're going to project the entire buildings, and people are going to freely walk through the design wherever they wish to walk through their future home, brand new school, campus, hospital, or see a skyscraper from another rooftop. That's the future we're after. And as pioneers, what we're doing is we are refining and automating so many of the steps and processes that are take a little bit of skill to get into. And so we're constantly refining and upgrading that. And I always say to people, we right now as an industry are in the same place you could say Apple was in 1984 when they launched the Macintosh. Roughly the same place if you compared the two timelines together.
So, Mike, quick question. Do you see majority of this going to business, or is this going to just become an everyday, every person kind of device?
I think in the beginning, it's all business. It's easier to penetrate new technology into enterprise because enterprise will come in and utilize new tech for either efficiency, competitive advantage, time saving, money saving advantages, or just ultimately being more competitive next to older companies. Around probably 2028 going into the 2030s, I think that's when you'll see the glasses become affordable and filled with a great deal of consumer type applications that'll get people to use this as their daily common tool. You're going to see Apple attempt it when they release the Vision Pro next year. You're going to see the device get launched with a whole array of applications so that people can start to do things and experiment with things. But what we're seeing is this is all highly experimental. Nobody has the smoking bullet in terms of, what the hottest use case is for the tech. It's all going to be pretty much put the applications out there and see what people do with it. And the best ones that win will take those and continue to build and refine on that and those behaviors.
Right now, you have a project with in the Detroit Windsor area. You have the online map there.
Yeah.
Are the glasses going to be kind of able to interact with things like that?
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah. So to give some background, in addition to AR and VR, we also build 3D virtual city twins. So imagine SimCity for real cities. And you can go to designwindsor.com and you can see the platform is for Windows PC and you can download it. And so we've built out an entire 3D copy of multiple cities around the world, including Windsor and Detroit. And what we want to get to is this powerful urban planning and design tool for architects, developers, and urban planners and city officials to be able to take building designs, plug it into this digital twin of the city, and to be able to see and present the outcomes and effects of this within urban context. And so you see every time there's a new building proposed in the city, whether it's the mega hospital or it's some new tower downtown or a multi-story family building in Walkerville, people obviously freak out, panic, go up in arms, come up with all these associations and fears about what they believe this new development will do. And this is really a tool for everybody to take a step back and say, hey, what are we actually doing? What are the actual impacts and not the imagined ones? And how can we better design these outcomes to create a better city all at the same time?
It takes it to like a Star Trek level type of thing. I see like that's coming. Like I'm the Trekkie in me is kind of gets excited about it. But when
Yep.
you think about the technology and how it's like just evolving, opening up new opportunities, new education opportunities for people to also learn in this space, and then eventually grow into this burgeoning industry that's really starting to happen as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and I see, really about all this new tech is creating new behaviors. You have old patterns of behaviors that people did in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And this new technology is really about, number one, how can we get rid of old steps, old process, things that are no longer, take too much time to consume or are just outright ineffective in their ability to communicate design intents, and for our case, in architecture and design. And how do we move into a new world that is more efficient, better communicates and explains design intent, and more importantly, creates better buildings and better cities at the end of the day?
Well, and you talk about like better buildings and cities. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with Petite Homes?
So Petite Homes is our housing construction startup here in Windsor. And so we specialize in building tiny homes and backyard homes. And that really is an opportunity to help Windsor and communities across Ontario densify from within. So instead of continuing urban sprawl, we have these clever solutions for people to build homes in their backyards, whether it's for family. We have a lot of people that come to us for their parents. They want their parents to have a nice, beautiful place to live in where they're safe and secure and close to the grandkids. Or it's also been a great opportunity for first-time home buyers for the kids of parents where they can't afford a house in Windsor today because the average home in Windsor is about $500,000 to $600,000. This gives them an opportunity to enter the market in a far more affordable way, like how it was 5, 6 years ago, and
and
get started.
I can see that definitely developing into tiny home communities,
Yep.
where you have whole developments, where you have a tiny home either for retirees
Yep.
or that type of thing. I think the uses are endless. Like I've actually, Chris, already talked to Mike and had him check my property to see if one will work here, and it does. Yes.
Well, how much space does one need for a tiny home? Like how tiny is tiny? I guess for listeners and viewers of this.
Yeah. So if you go to www.petite.homes, you can see right there the two models. The first one's the Craftsman, which is 550 square feet roughly. And then we have the Cascadia, which is just around 500 square feet. And so these little tiny backyard homes fit nicely in majority of backyards across Windsor and Essex County, and ultimately municipalities across Canada, because the building lot sizes are all roughly the same. And what we did special in the architecture, a lot of tiny homes may seem very cramped and very small. If you look at the Craftsman, we opened it up and we gave it large vaulted ceilings. So you got this great expensive space. Then we gave it glass sliding doors and ways to open the house into the outdoor space. So you're really
lots of lights and everything just to give it that open feeling.
It looks like like beautiful finishes and stuff inside. Like I just opened it up here, and yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks awesome.
Yep. And the glass sliding doors, a lot of people don't take into consideration that during the summer, your indoor outdoor space can really create so much more room and space and volume for the house that you can really connect these two mediums. And so glass sliding doors are a perfect way to create that seamless integration. So you're not just stuck with a single door that's opening you up to the backyard. Now these nice glass doors that open up, bring the sunlight in, can keep the door open all day. This is very nice.
That's incredible. Well, I think this is a good segue part for us to kind of talk about the rapid fire side of things here. We're going to throw some questions at you quickly and fast, and we're looking for those quick, short answers. So are you ready, Mike?
Let's do it.
Dave, you ready?
I'm good.
All right. Let's go. Okay, so question number 1. What is one business book you think that everyone should read?
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Oh, shit. Rapid fire. Let's see. The Alchemist.
How do you handle stress and uncertainty that comes with entrepreneurship?
Exercising, working out.
What's a common misconception in your industry?
That everyone will be successful.
How do you balance multiple ventures? Because you're a guy who's doing multiple things at once.
Organization and letting other people do the work that they like to do.
Yes.
What's a piece of advice you give to somebody who is trying to be organized? How do you keep yourself organized, essentially?
Notebook. Keep a notebook. Write everything down.
How do you think that your background and what you've kind of learned is going to continue to grow as your industry shifts and change? Like, what do you see, like the version you are now? How's that going to change 10 years from now?
So my background's architecture. My startups are architecture. I see this more of a personal growth between as I want to design and build buildings and create the tools and technology to better present my buildings. That's how my world and ecosystem spins. It's very much tied to who I want to become and how I want to present in the buildings I want to build. And people who want to come along with me on that journey can build and design and present the same way.
Beautifully articulated. Who's an entrepreneur that you admire?
Steve Jobs.
Is he the same? Would you say Steve Jobs if I asked you who you could meet or have dinner with, dead or alive?
I YouTube Steve Jobs 1984. By far one of the most inspirational product launch speeches imaginable. And there are videos he's done where he just articulates so well the process.
So he put a dig in your universe.
Oh yeah. Very very good stuff there. A lot of great things you can learn.
When you have a long business week, how do you rejuvenate? How do you recover?
You have to take weekends off. That was a rule we set. And you should go away somewhere. Go to the beach, go to the mountains, go camping, do anything but business. Turn it off. Go drink and be with friends.
What inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I didn't have a choice. I fell into it out of necessity. And you quickly started to learn that you could hunt and make money for yourself. And we just continued it.
What advice would you give to people who are trying to reach new customers? You're obviously in very different and newer industries. How do you pull people in? What kind of advice would you give?
I'd say, you can't, marketing is very important. Having a good marketing machine is the nature of today. Your network as well. A lot of people don't develop their networks, and networks are powerful because great relationships, people come to you even months later and they say, hey, we got this phenomenal opportunity. Do you want to check it out? And so I find that you really should really work on your networks. And it's unfortunate that a lot of our peers, that are working in enterprise or professional industry don't maintain their networks and their relationships, and they should.
Yeah. Even if that all the time.
Yeah. You don't need to be you don't need to start your own business to maintain a network. Your network can really do wonders for you.
How would you help somebody who is nervous about the new technology that's coming? You talk about AR and VR. How do you get them to, look past that, especially when people start, it's more common in say, 2028, People walking around with glasses. How would you help them?
Yeah, I come across this all the time. AI even has made people very nervous. And, there were old teachers in architecture, and I told them we were using AI to help us with the rendition process. And, it was like, oh, how could you? And I was like, well, what's the difference? No one cares if I took 30 hours to model every single tree for the image. No one gives a shit about that, versus just creating the image in the first place. What's the difference? I would say, fear is a terrible thing. Fear holds people back from just about everything in life. And really just try and keep your mind in this neutral place. Don't try and be too opinionated on what you think is right or wrong or what the future is, because we have really no idea. We're just kind of all projecting our thoughts on this is what I think is going to happen going into the late 2020s. But obviously what will happen will be some wild divergence. So I just say be neutral in everything. If the technology benefits you in some way, use it. If it doesn't, whatever, learn about it. But a lot of people love to put their opinions out into the world, and I think that's exhausting.
What's a fear that you've overcome?
Actually, I was just talking with David. I was just talking with Arthur about this. There's this great book. I can't recall the title, but basically limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs are the things that we tell ourselves that we can't do or can't become. And so reading that, I'll spill some of my limiting beliefs. I was afraid for a long time to charge good money for the work that we do. And every time you'd submit the proposal, you'd freak out, oh my God, is that too much money? What are we going to do here? And, maybe we should just give them a discount, just anything, thinking that if we didn't charge as much as we think we deserve to, that we would get the business for that. And then you quickly learn that out of all the opportunities that are out there, go, take your quote and double it, even triple it, because the more money there is in the project, the more people calm down, the more time there is, the better the project outcome becomes for everybody. And more importantly, you don't have to take every opportunity that comes your way. Say no. Say no to all the ones that don't meet your rules for business, and take the 2 or 3 that do.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
When you think about superpowers, so you wake up tomorrow and you have a superpower, what superpower do you have?
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I want to make stuff. Yeah, the superpower to just, we're entrepreneurs, so we conjure things in our minds, and then we, over the course of months, you go and fucking build it. Perhaps the superpower to just build it right away is have a program just manifest right in front of you.
What's your favorite song?
I found a good, R&B. It's a good new R&B mix. Hold on, let me tell y'all. It's actually a cool little song. I just found it on like XM satellite radio. Okay, and maybe some listeners like R&B. It's called "Keep You in Mind" by Gordon Banks.
If you had a color that would say that represents you, what's that color?
Blue.
What's your favorite movie?
I like Born Identity.
If you were to become the world's leading expert in something that was completely unexpected, what would you love for that subject matter to be?
WeWork, before they collapsed, was touching on this really great concept as philosophical architecture, meaning that architecture dictates our behaviors and outcomes, and you can purposely design to get people to act and behave in certain ways for better outcomes.
Nice. The last question. If you could go back in time 10 years, what would you tell yourself?
Fucking hustle.
There you go. There you go. I got to ask one question though, Mike. In the questions there, you said that you write things down, right?
Yeah.
You are a computer tech, just cutting edge kind of, business and that type of thing, but you're still writing things down. What is it about? What is it about writing things down that I mean, obviously you've got computers all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something about, your writing. It's real. It's real. It is, you can type your thoughts out, which is fine, but there's something really, a good exercise Arthur and I do, Arthur Barbett from the Downtown Accelerator.
Yeah.
So, very good friends, and he's a mentor. And one of the things we do is we'll spill out our situation for the month. And so your situation for the month can be, I'll go to them and I'll say, hey, okay, I got these customers, I have these opportunities. This is a product that's about to come out. These are the updates. And what we do is we'll go and say, here we are today, August 31st, 2023. And by September 16th, let's say, a nice little 2-3 week time block. This is the situation. These are all these things. What do these things become once they're done? What's the benefits for the updates to the products or getting these customers done? And it is this great way to take your mental mind map, pump it out on paper, and because you write it, you're physically manifesting it. You're getting this nice direct thought between all the thoughts in your head, and you put it on paper, and you can be messy on paper. And sometimes get a little esoteric, between the symbols you're drawing, you're really helping get out all the fine details that are in your head about the situation, so that you can write the situation out, say, these are my timelines, these are the things I need, this is how much money we need to make. And you can really build out a projection into the future for what you need to do to get to that place where you want to become. And so that's why I love writing things out on paper, because you can get into really fine detail about the whole situation, where on computer, you're really just stuck to these alphabet letters and that particular
you're just making a list.
You're just making a list. And sometimes you need to doodle. Maybe you got to draw something out. You got to sketch a little concept to help you out along the way to really get all that information out. But what's really nice is once you do that exercise, then your mind is calm. It is silent. You're no longer thinking about, what do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to do a month from now? You've written it all out on paper.
See, I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, if you got something jammed in your head, I keep a pad of paper by the bed for that 3 o'clock in the morning, idea that wakes you up, and you don't want to lose it. So I'm a paper guy too.
Yeah.
So, basically I write down everything, and I feel the same way. The minute you write it down, it kind of just, takes that extra load off your brain, so you have more energy to focus on other things.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
it takes it off and it puts it somewhere else. Really.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is, because now you know that whenever you need to get the information, it's there. So now you can fill your brain up with more information.
But so many people that are in small business or jump out for themselves, the number one thing nobody would talk about or admit is the immense amount of pressure and stress that comes from it. It's one of it's the first time in many people's lives they'll have to face outright rejection multiple times for years on end, and you'll find little ways to snake through and get to success. But nobody talks about the the trials and tribulations of the entire journey. And so if there's a listener on here who is having, whether it's panic attacks or, what the fuck do I do? Write it on paper, write your true thoughts and feelings on paper. And what'll happen is you'll stop thinking about it. Your mind will let it go. Yep. And then it's on paper and you can resolve it, or, just make a decision on how you want to feel and move forward.
There is nothing better than taking that pen or pencil and putting a line through that thing that you just finished. Yeah. It's just like, it's done,
Well, I think the other thing that's important too that you mentioned, Mike, is that like you talked about Arthur and what you're able to do with him. Having a mentor is also so critical when you're trying to build out a business.
Oh, yes.
Talk to me about the importance of this mentorship that it's played in your career.
You need people that you can freely talk to about the truth of the situation that you're in, especially if you go into your own business or entrepreneurship. There's always a truth to the situation. We're hustlers. We can project into the future what we want. We can make you believe that, this is the greatest product ever made, that this is going to change your life. But truthfully, there's a whole bunch of minutia in the background that's like, holy shit, okay, how are we going to get this feature pumped out? How are we going to get this? Okay, we need money to build this out. And having a mentor lets you spill the truth of the entire situation out on paper or whiteboard, and you can work through the details together. It's like problem solving. And because you have somebody that you can freely and openly talk to about the entire thing, that's when you find the solutions to the problems.
But the one thing I have to say, Mike, is you got to find somebody that is going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And who's not just going to say, oh yeah, that sounds great, and somebody who, who is willing to support your ideas. If you've got a great idea, let's talk, let's delve into that, and then when the brainstorming starts between the two of you, new directions can happen. Yeah, it's an amazing process.
Realizations, I realized through many of our strategy sessions, and you'll go and you'll say, oh, why did I take these particular set of customers on? These were the, a lot of time in business, you'll take on work for the sake of work. Mm-hmm. And truthfully, you were better off just meditating. You were better off not. Why do you have to be busy? What is the point of being busy? What you need are situations that are going to move you closer to your ultimate goal. And most people in business, like if you're going to go the route of entrepreneurship, really what you should be asking yourself is, this vehicle that I'm in, this tool, what is it going to bring for me in the future? Not a business. Don't look at it in terms of, we're going to do a 9-to-5 business. What am I trying to get out of this business for myself? And for a lot of people, that might be buying a house, moving to the United States or somewhere in the world. Everybody has a deep personal ambition of where they want to be. This is just a vehicle. That's all it is.
That's why I always recommend to people, write out, when you first start, write out a business plan, and the business plan has to include, where you're going, where when do you want it to end? What do you want to end up at the end of it?
Yep.
So that you have a complete picture of why you're into it in the first place, how you're going to get there, and what, as you said, what's the end result?
Yeah. Who do you want to become at the end of it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's this great TED Talk. If you just type in, let's just call it Challenges of Entrepreneurship TED Talk on YouTube. And he talks about, why a lot of people join this endeavor for whatever reason. Maybe it's, people have ambition or they want to get their ideas out there into the world. And his argument is, remember, this thing, starting a business, is just one tool to an array of tools and things you can do to ultimately support your end goals. You don't have to make it's a trope. It's just another method or tool, but you don't need to get into this whole thing. If you want adventure or you want to create ideas into the world, you don't have to start a business to do that. This is just one method for making money. And to make money, you just need to hit into things that people want and need. And one of the things that hurts entrepreneurs so badly is they make things from their own minds or egos to realize nobody wants what they've created.
Yeah,
and that's a fucking tough one, right? And you go, what do you mean? You told me you wanted somebody with passion. You wanted somebody who, these are the things you wanted. I said, well, the market only cares to buy what the market needs. And so you'll grow out of that and you'll hopefully find, you're lucky if you can throw your passion and ambitions into it. But what I'm saying to people is you don't have to start a business to get your passions out into the world.
Incredible. So much value today, Mike. Really appreciate you taking the time to share your story, your journey, answering those questions that we had. What's a final piece of advice that you would love to share with any listeners? Maybe it's somebody who is going through a journey where they are thinking of creating a business, or what do you want to impart on the audience today?
I would say, time goes by quickly. It goes by very quickly. It seems like it's slow, but every day somehow compounds. And next thing you know, we're in December, and then next year. Really know what you want from your life. Where do you want to live? What kind of house do you want to live in? Really focus on that. And whatever business you start, just treat it like the vehicle or tool to get you to that. Listen, keep your ears. I'm talking a lot, but you should be listening more than you talk. That's a key. You'll hear everything you need from listening. And that'll guide whatever it is that you're going to create that's going to make money for you. Should come from the people. They should tell you what they want to buy from you. Don't try and impose things on people for them to buy, because obviously it's not going to click or work out. I would say that. And try and start a venture that makes money right away. A danger, especially on tech startups, is we'll spend months, sometimes years, building out MVPs and tech products. and really trying to bring it to market on these long engineering cycles to all of a sudden realize you got to shift it here, move it here, do this here. And you'll put engineering in front of marketing or engineering in front of sales. Don't do that. Try and do something that makes you money from almost the day you start your business or whatever venture you're doing.
Incredible. Well, we talked about paper and a pen earlier. I hope anybody listening to this, watching this, was taking notes throughout because there was so many gems that were shared through this. So, Mike, thank you so much for being on the show here today. This was absolutely phenomenal.
Appreciate it, gentlemen.
All right, everyone. Until next time, remember rapid fire insights. This is where we are going to go move fast. We're going to move quick, and we're going to be sharing tons of value. So continue to watch and subscribe and listen and leave a review as well for the next episode as it pops along. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, boys.
Have a good one.
Cheers.